Hello and welcome to this year in review. My name is WW but you already know that, and we're gonna take a look back at 2020. And we're gonna take a look back at 2020 as a gaming year mostly, and also just in general on the channel. So yeah, we're gonna start off with the good, as per usual, since we definitely need some good this year. So let's go through the list of good things that did happen. 1. The Pokemon Sword and Shield games got the Olive Armor and Crown Tundra DLCs, finally saying goodbye to enhanced versions, quote unquote, like the Ultra games in Gen 7 or the third versions earlier in the franchise. The idea of just bringing out an enhanced version of the game with extra content, very little extra content, and you're having to replay the entire thing all over again, kinda never really appealed to me, so I am really glad that they finally did away with that and started doing DLC. Also, the DLCs were all in all pretty damn good, especially the Crown Tundra. Added a lot of value of keeping going, because all of the Dynamax adventures are actually really fun. And of course, as a shiny hunter, being able to shiny hunt all of those legendaries is also pretty neat. Even though they did shiny lock the Galarian forms of the legendary birds, which are like the only really goddamn good new shinies, but hey. Second on the list, Pokemon Home released at the start of the year and got compatibility with Pokemon Go just recently, making it a whole lot easier to organize a living dex and just in general transferring Pokemon between games on the Switch. And I am really goddamn glad that you can access other accounts' save files through that, because otherwise my shinies from my shiny lock in Let's Go would have been lost forever, because I would probably not go ahead and purchase a second Switch just to be able to trade them over to my main save and then put them into home. Number 3 is another Switch release, Project Diva Mega Mix, or Project Diva Mega 39s, which is, Mega Mikusu, Japanese and their puns. Especially with the Project Diva franchise and Miku fandom, there is a really big focus on puns involving the number 39, because 39, apart from being able to be read as Sun Q, which is the katakana writing of the English word thank you that Japanese do use a lot, at least in casual situations. Apart from that, the numbers 3 and 9 also kinda look like the katakana for Miku's name, so Miku, which is like, the Mi is like 3 lines and the Ku kinda looks a little bit like an I. So yeah. There's the pun in that. But yeah, the game itself is basically a port of Project Diva Future Tone from the PS4 over to the Switch. Basically has the same gameplay, just doesn't run as well, seeing as like sometimes the background video will slow down to 30 FPS and less, because the Switch is just nowhere near powerful enough for that. Also, the art style is a little bit different, and there is a second game mode using the Joy-Cons, but that is actually not the greatest to play, so I never really got into playing that a lot. But yeah, in general, the game is pretty damn good, and I'm glad that they put something on the Switch regarding that series. The next point is gonna be more focused on the channel, as I started doing both challenge runs, both in Pokemon and in non-Pokemon games, and the Gaming Abridged series, which is basically taking an entire Let's Play worth of footage and condensing it down into one video, with post-commentary added onto it. Unfortunately, Gaming Abridged is like incredibly time-intensive to edit and get everything done for, so the only two games that I got that out for so far are the first two Metro games, where I just went through the entirety of my 2 playthroughs of the game that I had and put together one video for each. The next one that's on the list to come out is Metro Exodus, but I'd still need to actually finish the game, plus write the rest of the script, plus edit that entire thing, which all in all is really goddamn time intensive, and with how my job situation changed this year, there was no way that any of that would have worked this year, but we're gonna get to that in a bit probably. But yeah, the series in general are pretty damn fun to do, and they seem to do very well on the channel, so I am glad I started that. Especially with the Pokemon challenge runs, since those are some of my most viewed videos ever. So if any of you have not checked out the non-Pokemon challenge run videos, I did one for Surgeon Simulator VR without using any medical tools. I did one for Dishonored without using any weapons. And I am currently, as of recording of this, working on a run of Dishonored where I literally run through the entire game, killing every NPC that I possibly can, just to see how the game reacts to that. Because that is absolutely completely counterintuitive to how you're supposed to play the game. So that's also going on there eventually, as soon as I manage to finish it and edit it. So yeah, I love those series, and I cannot wait to have more time to work on these again once I'm done with this job at the end of January. A game that I have not played yet, but do plan on playing once I get through the other games in the series, Doom Eternal, also came out this year. Seems to be really just more of the same that was Doom 2016, which is a good thing, because Doom 2016 is a goddamn awesome game. So I cannot wait to actually be able to play through that as well. That's probably gonna be on Gaming Abridged eventually. I just need to actually have the time to actually do something. One nice little Switch exclusive that came out very early in the game that I did a full playthrough of on the channel, link in the description down below, is Good Job, which is a nice little physics puzzle game. I absolutely love the shit out of that. That was such a fun playthrough. I wish there was more levels to it. And yeah, just in general, one of the greatest games this year. Going on through the list, this is kinda written in a chronological order, because I just keep adding stuff on the bottom of the list until we're actually doing this. Next game is Train Station Renovation, which I did the demo for during the summer when the huge Steam demo thing was going on, which is also a topic that we're gonna talk about later. But yeah, that we did the demo for that is basically along the lines of House Flipper but for train stations, and I definitely liked what I saw. I just did not get to actually purchase the game and do a full playthrough of it yet. I do plan on doing that, but just in general it is a little bit hard to find the time, as I said earlier. One surprise indie game that released out of the blue and was the absolute hit, surprise hit of the year, Fall Guys Ultimate Knockout. And I absolutely love that they just put that on PS Plus on release, because that way, like, you get an incredibly huge player base just by the PS Plus subscribers. I haven't actually played it in a while, because I don't have fucking time, but I love the game. It's fun as hell. I would play it more if I had more time, and I hope it stays available and populated throughout the coming years, because that's like probably the best Battle Royale style game that I have ever played. Mostly because like the rounds are very reminiscent of stuff like Takeshi's Castle, and I was a huge fan of that show as a kid. Going to a puzzle game that came out this year called Relicta, which I still have not finished. That one actually got itself a Let's Play, because I don't think doing puzzle games in a Gaming Abridged kind of video would work that well. Mostly because it's just puzzles. You're not gonna narrate over puzzles for hours. Like, I mean, if I'd actually go ahead and do the entirety of Relicta as a condensed down thing, I would just skip over the puzzles, because nobody will want to sit there and hear me narrate each and every individual puzzle, right? I mean, sitting there and watching me solve it is a completely different thing. I don't know, that's just my opinion. You can give yours in the comments down below. But yeah, Relicta is a really good game. I love the puzzles so far. It is also a really like exhausting game, because some of the puzzles take a lot of thinking outside the box. Well, they are challenging to a degree, so I mean, it would be pretty unfun as a puzzle game if it wasn't challenging, but still, it gets exhausting after playing an hour of it. So yeah, that's why I couldn't like just bulk record the rest of the game and have that uploaded in parts then, because holy shit, would I die doing that. Next on the list, Surgeon Simulator 2, which is a pretty big departure from the original Surgeon Simulator, as this is a multiplayer game that you actually run around in and have maps to explore. The only thing that's really still Surgeon Simulator is that you have a Bob that you can do surgery on as a team. But it's more of a puzzle game than an actual Surgeon Simulator sequel. So it is a good game, but I would not want to play it unless I have like 3 other people to play it with, which I don't have. So yeah, that's why I never made any content for it. It is fun. It is still fun. It still has janky controls of the hands. It still has the usual bossa humor, but just in general, it is a multiplayer focused game, and I am not a multiplayer kind of guy usually. And you know, I did know about Surgeon Simulator 2 very early on in the development cycle, when they didn't even call it Surgeon Simulator 2 yet, because I was part of the alpha test. So yeah, I knew this was coming, I knew what it was going to be, and that's why I never got into actually recording it. Also, during the summer, Steam decided to bring back the demo, because for obvious reasons of every convention that would usually have demos to try out not happening this year, Steam went ahead and just said, hey, put all your demos that you'd usually put out on E3 show floor and on the Gamescom show floor, and put them on Steam, let people download them and try them out that way. That was an incredibly good decision. However, that ended up flooding Steam with so many demos that you'd like have to take an hour to or an hour or two to like just go through all of the demos and see if there's anything interesting. You see that you saw that I went ahead and did like trash or treasure videos for a lot of them, but that was like not even the tip of the iceberg. So yeah, it was too much on one hand, but it is also like that's how you handle that kind of thing. I really liked it, but if you wanted to actually try out everything, you probably wouldn't have had the time within the time that they were available. Then again, do you have the time to try everything at the convention like Gamescom? Definitely not, so I don't know. Next on the list, Neon Abyss. That came out in summer, July if I'm not completely wrong, immediately into the Xbox Game Pass for PC, so I went ahead and immediately installed it and played it, because the demo that they put on Steam for the thing that we just talked about was really goddamn good. So it reminded me a lot of Rogue Legacy and Isaac, so two roguelikes that I love to no end. So it was basically if you'd mix certain parts of Rogue Legacy, The Binding of Isaac, and Enter the Gungeon, maybe throw in a little bit of Our Darker Purpose there, and then just mix that together, you get Neon Abyss. All of those games are really good, so obviously that amalgamation also turned out really good. I tried streaming this on Twitch as a series, however, Twitch kinda is pretty dead for this game, seeing as like nobody's playing the game. Literally nobody is streaming the game on Twitch. Nobody is really uploading the game to YouTube either. I'm like one of the very few channels that uploaded this game. And I don't understand it. Like a lot of the channels that would usually cover something along these lines did not cover it. I really like the game, and I think this would totally fit other roguelike channels a lot as well. But alas, I kinda wanted to switch this over to a YouTube stream series, because I wanted to try streaming on YouTube anyway, and maybe people would be more likely to watch it on YouTube. However, I never got around to that, because I also have like the other stream series to take care of, and actually setting up OBS to stream to YouTube also takes a little bit of time. So and getting familiar with the YouTube stream dashboard is also something that I didn't put time into yet. So I just in general didn't get around to actually putting the time into starting to stream on YouTube. However, I will put some time into that eventually, seeing as Twitch has been very, very weird about copyright recently, which is a thing that we're going to talk about in the bad stuff. And, you know, I really just want to basically only play stuff that I know will not get me DMCA'd over there. I mean, I played Project Diva over there recently. So far, I haven't seen any DMCA claims on that stream, so maybe that's fine after all. But yeah, I just wanted to also have YouTube set up for streaming eventually, just in case Twitch ever decides to say, hey, you know what, fuck you. Which they seem to do a lot this year, so I don't know. We'll see. I'm definitely going to finish the series though. Maybe I'll just record the rest of it. It's not that much that's left. I'll just actually have to have like 2 or 3 good runs and we should be done with that. So maybe I'll just do that as a warm-up for recording Isaac again, because at the end of the year we should get Isaac Repentance, but we're going to talk about that in the future. Seeing as I don't know if it's actually releasing on the 31st of December. And even if it does, that counts as a 2021 release for me. Back to the Switch, Mario 3D All-Stars. I do not know why they limited the availability of it, but the game itself is basically 3 games from the N64, the GameCube, and was like, I don't remember what Galaxy was on, probably also the GameCube, or was that on the Wii? That was the area, like the area between after the N64 and before the Switch was kinda the area where I did not care about Nintendo home consoles, so I literally don't know any better. So yeah, whatever platform those came out on, Mario 64, obviously N64, but yeah, Sunshine and Galaxy were also in that, and I am currently playing through that. That's the third kind of cut down series videos that I want to do. It's more of a highlights reel than a gaming abridged video, because you don't really need to narrate over a platform for the most part. I'll just I want to do this with the Mario series. Obviously, I want to do that with the Ori series, because I started playing Ori and the Blind Forest last year in preparation for Ori and the Will of the Wisp coming out, but I never got around to actually finishing that because, again, playing a platformer on stream, unless it's a really difficult platformer, not that popular, and honestly, streaming to an empty chat is mostly not gonna be very entertaining. So I'd much rather just record that in chunks of whatever time I get, and then cut it down to a highlight reel. So yeah, that's what's gonna happen with Mario 3D All-Stars. Generally, that's a pretty good game though. I mean, it's games that are pretty highly acclaimed titles of their original consoles, so they couldn't really go wrong here unless they fucked up the emulation, which they didn't. Another Switch title, and that one is a Switch Online subscriber exclusive, Mario Battle Royale. Pretty goddamn good Battle Royale game, honestly. Just I'm not that incredibly good at classic Mario Bros, so the best I've ever gotten placed on that is a second place, I think. If I find the screenshot, I'll put it on screen right now. Bob. Yeah, that's probably my greatest accomplishment in that game. But yeah, it was fun for a while. I haven't played it in a while, and I don't know. It's just kind of there now. Also only available until the middle of January or something, which is also, again, why? And they did shut down a freaking fan project that did the same thing, as a free thing. I'm on like a website or something. I think to like get this out. So I don't know. It's weird, but generally good game. Coming to one of my favorites of this year, Dark Pictures Little Hope. The Dark Pictures series, obviously made by the same people that did the Until Dawn game, and that was definitely one of my favorites of that year. The first Dark Pictures game was one of my favorites last year, and this is definitely one of my favorites this year. They capture horror as like an interactive movie kind of thing very well. I like it, I love it, I want to replay it to try and get different endings again. So yeah, we're eventually gonna go through that. I also want to play through Man of Medan again, because I kinda have not actually gotten to do other endings, like killing everybody or saving everybody. We're gonna eventually do that, and actually Man of Medan is currently on the Xbox Game Pass for PC, so I kind of want to play the PC version anyways, so that's gonna happen eventually. As soon as I actually get time, which, I mean, at the latest, that's gonna be at the end of January, because I quit the job that I'm currently still working in. Another candidate for Gaming Abridged, just in general, the series of Amnesia is something I want to do for that. Also the other games by Frictional. But Amnesia Rebirth came out quite recently, but I haven't gotten to play a lot of it yet. I played like an hour and haven't gotten back to it yet because I have no fucking time. Also, I can't play more than an hour of an Amnesia game for some reason, or any like actually survival horror game, because for whatever reason I get incredibly cold playing those. Like it wasn't even that cold yet. I needed a freaking like hoodie to keep myself from freezing to death while playing that. For some reason, I don't know, my body has like a stress reaction for survival horror games that makes me just lose all blood fluctuation to my extremities or something. I don't know, because I sure as fuck had cold feet and hands. So yeah, I'm not playing more than an hour at a time, but yeah, generally incredibly atmospheric and just classic Frictional Games horror, and I cannot wait to keep playing. Going to another puzzle platformer, and that's gonna be the last game by itself on the good list, The Pedestrian, which did come out quite recently-ish. I didn't even realize that it came out. That was like on my wish list for a while already. After I saw it on like one of the game trailer shows in summer. It's basically a puzzle platformer. I haven't like gotten around to play it yet, but you're gonna get a like freaking highlight video of that as well, because platformers, so I think that would work. And the last thing on the good list, the Xbox Game Pass being just incredibly good value, even if you just have a PC. Xbox Game Pass for PC just absolutely blew every other subscription service for games out of the water this year. Literally just getting everything that's Microsoft Studios basically on release for no extra cost. And with Microsoft buying stuff like ZeniMax, which includes Bethesda, there's just incredible amounts of really good games that you can play by just subscribing to Xbox Game Pass. Like, I know this kind of sounds like I'm doing a promo for it here, but they're not paying me a single cent. I'm paying them. Like I'm just a normal subscriber to the Xbox Game Pass. Like if normal subscriber to the Xbox Game Pass. Like if Microsoft did reach out and told me if they wanted to do like some sort of sponsorship, I'd totally take it. But I don't think that my channel is big enough for stuff like that. So, yeah, just in general, the Game Pass is absolutely great value. I have played a lot of the games on there already, and every time a new one releases, I am again amazed that I can just play that without any further cost. Going to the bad side of stuff, though, I'm gonna start with something not that bad. 3D All-Stars and Battle Royale, Mario Battle Royale being available for only a short time. So for some reason, friggin' Nintendo thought, hey, let's make this cool compilation of 3 games and this cool Battle Royale of Super Mario Bros. And then only put it out until like the middle of January next year. Like I can see the reason behind doing a limited physical run of 3D All-Stars. But a limited digital run? That makes no sense whatsoever. That's just Nintendo being Nintendo, and Nintendo being pretty bad and anti-consumer at times, and just going ahead and creating artificial scarcity for stuff. That's the same shit they pulled with like the mini consoles, where they just put like incredibly low amounts into actual stores, making it seem like they're sought after items when people just literally couldn't buy them ever. So yeah, I don't like that kind of shit, but yeah, what am I gonna do? One more funny story than actual bad. I mean, it's bad for the people who actually bought the game, but it kinda your own fault if you still buy a WWE 2K game, because 2K fucked up everything that was ever good about WWE games on console. So WWE 2K20, which is the game that came out last year, 2019, broke the moment the clock turned over to the 1st of January 2020. It just had incredibly stupidly unexplainable by any normal human being glitches just start taking place. I mean, there's videos of that on YouTube. I was just sitting there and watching that and being like, how does a date change do that? Like, this makes no sense. Makes no sense whatsoever. Why does a date change affect gameplay? I don't think I ever got an explanation for that either. And I don't know. I'm assuming they fixed that with a patch at some point. I didn't hear anything afterwards anymore. But yeah, I don't really care, because the WWE games were already ruined like 4 years ago. So I haven't played one since 2K16. So yeah. Now, because we're on the bad list, let's address the elephant in the room. The baby elephant that you use for measuring the distance to the next person. For some reason, our government in Austria thought comparing the distance you have to keep between you and the next person, which is around 1.5 meters, to a baby elephant, which also is like about 1.5 meters long. I don't know how they came up with that, because I mean, the only way you would know how big a baby elephant is around here is if you saw one in the zoo at Vienna. No other zoo around here has elephants. So, and there's obviously no wild living elephants. I don't know. It's just not a size comparison that anybody in this country could really make use of in general. So I don't know how they came up with that, but the elephant in the room, obviously the apocalypse happening and everything being cancelled because of it. That's like the worst thing about this year. Lockdown after lockdown after lockdown, and then of course dumb people who just run around acting like the virus isn't real. So yeah, if you ever wondered what a zombie apocalypse would look like in real life, there you have it. All those people running around protesting against masks being mandatory and against any sort of measures taken against the spread, and any sort of idiots who run around thinking some sort of new world order wants to fucking chip you with the fucking vaccine, which for God's sake we fucking finally got now. Like, was there idiots like that back when smallpox kinda were like got a vaccine and we actually eradicated the fucking disease? Like, it's still the only disease that we managed to eradicate. We could have done that with everything we have a vaccine for. Just saying. Without going any further into that, this is a gaming year in review. Obviously, E3, Gamescom, any other freaking gaming convention, every tournament, everything got cancelled because of the apocalypse, and therefore this is probably one of the worst years in terms of gaming ever. Also, everything is delayed because of the apocalypse, because developers have to work from home, and a lot of companies don't have that figured out incredibly well. At least they didn't at the start of the pandemic. So I just hope that with the vaccine now being a thing, we can go back to like normal events and release schedules at like the middle of next year. You may have noticed that I didn't put the release of the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X on the good list. That might be because the pre-orders went up at a moment's notice. Literally nobody in the world was able to fucking get one, except for maybe a million scalpers who tried to resell them for double the price on eBay. Like, I literally don't know anybody that's not like a YouTuber who owns a PS5, because it's literally not available. It's still not available. Like, you'd think that they'd restock like at some point. No, since the release, still middle of December, no new stock. Nothing. You can't even pre-order one again for the next like shipment. It's just non-existent. It's like the fucking console never fucking launched. That was, on one hand, it was already a paper launch to begin with, because they didn't have the freaking volumes of units to actually satisfy the market. And then also the scalpers coming in and having their bots buy like 20 didn't help a lot either. So yeah, kinda that was one of the worst launches in console history, and I can absolutely not understand how anybody had any way of getting one, because I tried. I really tried. It just didn't happen. So yeah, that's probably not gonna be a thing until like February of next year. I think I also bought my PS4 like in the February after release, because well, at release it was not available because obviously at release it's gonna be out of stock. But I think that the PS4 did a pretty good job at restocking in like a reasonable amount of time. Because I remember seeing PS4s in the frickin' flyers from like tech stores within like a month of release. Yeah, so PS5 kind of failed on that. And so did the Xbox Series X. The only thing that's available is the Series S, and nobody wants that. And back to another thing that I already talked about a little bit, Pokemon Home, especially the Pokemon Go to Home transfer, which we finally got, but it is a free-to-wait MTX mongering cash grab. You see, you have a certain amount of energy that you can use to transfer Pokemon from Go to Home. This energy is consumed depending on the strength of the Pokemon, whether it is a legendary and whether it is a shiny. If you try to transfer a shiny legendary, you might as well just fuck yourself in the knee because you literally use up all of your energy for just that one Pokemon. And then you can either wait like 6 weeks or something and for it to recharge, or you can pay for it. So yeah, that's why I stopped playing Pokemon Go for the most part. I got everything over with the wait in between, because hell, I'm in no hurry to get my Pokemon into Pokemon Home. The typical thing that they do for fucking mobile games, where it's, well, you could keep playing if you pay us, or you just wait for an unreasonable amount of time. I went ahead and just let the things sit there for an unreasonable amount of time, because, hey, I'm not spending money on a mobile game. Next thing on the bad list, the Twitch DMCA problems that came up at the end of the year. So Twitch is handling DMCA incredibly poorly right now. Instead of having a system that is more akin to YouTube, and I wouldn't have ever thought that I'd say that, but YouTube's system is actually good in this, of having a claim on a video affect the fact that you can't monetize it, and then maybe the content gets blocked, or maybe the content or maybe any ad revenue goes to the copyright holder. That is still better than being just fucking banned off of Twitch for having like one segment of copyrighted music in your entire stream. Like, I understand that the music industry does not appreciate streamers that play like just random music that they didn't pay for, like they didn't pay a license for in the background all the time, just because they want background music on their stream. I understand that they don't like that, but just banning random people who literally didn't even put any music in there, like they didn't put the music on, it was in the game to begin with. I mean, my personal view of the law so far is still, if it's part of the game, it should be considered fair use, cause I can use a game, transform it into video format, any kind of video format that's not just literally, I don't know, copying a cutscene out of there and putting that on, because that's copying. No, anything that's transformative. So taking a game, playing it as a let's play, transformative. Taking a game, editing the footage down, like for freaking Gaming Abridged, definitely transformative. But for some reason, the music industry goes ahead and says, yeah, no, that's still copyright infringement. Fuck you, we get your money. That's and that's a problem still on YouTube as well. But at least you don't get just straight up fucking banned off of YouTube. So yeah, so much for that. And last on the bad list, which didn't even affect me, but I had to talk about it because it was just hilarious to look at. Cyberpunk 2077 released in an suboptimal state on every console and every on NPC, but especially suboptimal on PS4 and Xbox One. Like, have you seen screenshots of Cyberpunk 2077 on PS4? That shit is unplayable. That's stupid. Like, how did that make it out of CD Projekt Red's frickin' servers into a PS store? Like, how? That's like, no. That shouldn't happen, no matter what. I don't know who at the corporate level of the frickin' studio said, hey, we're just publishing this, fuck it. But honestly, fuck them. Because holy shit, this was not ready. This was definitely not ready. And with that, we look into the future. Starting off with a game that did it correctly and just kept on delaying as well, and still is delaying, Kerbal Space Program 2. The entire Kerbal Space Program community is incredibly hyped for that game, and if they released it in a non-perfect state, like in any sort of incredibly broken state like Cyberpunk, we would not appreciate that, and they know that. So that is why they keep on delaying it, and I hope that next year we actually get it, because it should be out next year. Next game that's coming out next year, a PlayStation 5 exclusive, as far as I know, called Stray, where you play as a cat, a little kitty cat, and that looked really cute, so I really wanted to play that. So as soon as I have a PS5 next year and that game is out, I'm going to play that. One game that's kinda preview for 2022, game's called Pragmata, looks very, I don't know, Kojima-esque in style. The trailer reminded me a lot of Death Stranding for some reason, I don't know. But yeah, the game's coming out in 2022. We don't know a lot about it, but I definitely keep an eye out on that. Something we do get next year, new Pokemon Snap, and I am excited as hell about that, because Pokemon Snap, probably my favorite spin-off Pokemon game of all time. So I am incredibly excited to get to play a new version of that on the Switch. And you can be sure that I will be streaming through that as soon as it's out. We will also most likely get Gen 4 remakes, Sinnoh remakes. They probably will announce that in February on Pokemon Day, and I cannot see any other games being the release for next year in November, so definitely I am calling it right now. By the end of next year, we have Sinnoh remakes on the Switch. If we don't, I don't know, I would be very surprised if they did anything that's not that. Another game that is coming next year is called 12 Minutes. That game looks very unique. It is basically a top-down perspective and real-time kind of action thing where every action you do has a consequence in the story. and you're kind of stuck in a 12-minute time loop if you where you can basically die over and over and over and over, and until you find a way to break the loop. It's kind of cool. I really want to try it. I'm looking forward to the release, but that's not coming until next year as well. Another thing we saw at the trailer shows in summer, Unknown 9 Awakening. I found that to be a very interesting trailer, but we haven't seen anything more from it so far, so I can't really say anything more about it, apart from I want to see more of it. Halo Infinite is also supposed to come next year, which is kind of the sequel again to the Halo franchise. I have not gotten around to play through the entire Halo collection on the Game Pass for PC yet, but that's definitely something I want to do since they're finally available on PC, all of them. So yeah, that's always been an Xbox exclusive series that I really never got into because I never had an Xbox and I don't like shooters on controllers. So yeah, looking forward to actually getting to play through the Halo series, including Infinite next year. Hitman 3 will release next year on the PS5 with an exclusive VR function, which kinda makes me wanna get Hitman 3 for the PS5 and try it in VR, cause holy crap, Hitman in VR sounds amazing. Then, one that we've had on the list like for years now, it seems, Scorn, still not coming out this year. I don't think we have a release date for next year either, but I'm looking forward to it eventually coming out, maybe, please. Stalker 2. I have not gotten to play through the Stalker games as well yet. I have all 3 of them on Steam, but Stalker 2 is coming next year, so I definitely want those on the Gaming Abridged series as well. Then we have Returnal, which is like a third-person roguelike kind of thing. Third-person shooter featuring roguelike elements, set in a futuristic science fiction setting. We're stranded in an on an alien planet, stuck in a time loop. So yeah, there's where the roguelikiness comes in. You're stuck in a time loop and have to fight aliens on an alien planet. Another one I definitely want to try when it comes out, and also do like the game that came before it on PS4 when it comes out, because I still have the game to finish, because I only did a Trash or Treasure of the first one. Wretched and Clank, the PS4 release I wanted to finish, and Wretched and Clank Rift Apart is the game that comes out next year that I definitely want to play, because that looked really fun. Another game coming out hopefully next year is Back 4 Blood, which is currently in alpha, and yeah, it's basically by the same people that made Left 4 Dead. It's not by Valve though, it's by the studio that made Evolve, which, yeah, you know, is the people that made Left 4 Dead, who just left Valve. You know, with how Evolve turned out, I'm a little bit skeptical about how this is gonna turn out, but from what we've seen in the trailers, it looks very Left 4 Dead-y, and I definitely would love to see a pseudo sequel to Left 4 Dead. So I'm looking forward to Back 4 Blood. And if it plays well, I definitely will try to get Medic to play this with me in co-op. Then we have another one for 2022, the Callisto Protocol, which is by the people who made Dead Space. It's a horror game, obviously. It's set in space. It looks very, very, very good so far. I am looking forward to see more of it, but we haven't seen a lot. And lastly, something that might still release on the 31st of December, if we are lucky. The Binding of Isaac Repentance. which is the final DLC for The Binding of Isaac Rebirth. And as soon as that's out, be sure that I will be playing Isaac again on this channel. So, and with that, I'd say thank you very much for watching. Have a nice New Year's Eve, because that is probably when I'll release this video. And see you next year. Till then, my name is WW Dadman, and I'm out of here. Bye.